You will see him at 11 a.m. When the rallies are being flagged off. You'll see him there. So that's the way he is.
Today, I will not be surprised if you see the governor of Nairobi at the flag of the World Rally Championship at KICC. Because I am sure that is where he's going to be. He prioritizes sherehe over this parliamentary business.
So hii maneno ya sherehe, if he doesn't want to be a governor, acha endelea na sherehe zake.
This is nothing but contempt of this committee. Last week there was an excuse that Governor Sakaja stated that he had not received the information on time and he needed to go to a burial.
Nairobi County Governor Johnson Sakaja is a man walking under a very tight rope.
Pending statements we have written to the CS. There are some statements that have gone over. We have rewritten to the CS, and in the last meeting that he came.
How were the summons delivered to his office? Because Sakaja will state that he has not received those summons. So maybe before we proceed any further, can the Secretariat tell us and give us copies of the summon and explain to this committee how they deliver the summons to the witness?
Chair, I think it is important for the question that has been raised by Olekina to be sorted out first, because this is the habit of the governor is to say he did not see those summons. I know who Patrick Akivaga is. I think he's the acting county secretary. And let's clear that question from Olekina first.
Through the chair, the summons were processed through the clerk, and the summons were delivered by our legal clerk, and the affidavit of service is there to show that they were actually delivered to his office.
I think for us is to revert back to our Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act and also Article 125 of the Constitution. And this time around, Mr. Chairman, for this committee to be taken seriously, we have to follow those two sections of legislations to the latter. We even have the power to call for a witness to be arrested. So I think it's about time that we exercise our powers, because this committee must be respected.
The Senate is once again going after his wealth through a $500,000 fine imposed on the city county boss for failing to honor energy committee sittings.
Chair, it is actually more than the fourth time. I believe we started this inquiry over a month ago. Mr. Chair, the CS for Energy has appeared before this committee. The director for EPRA has appeared before this committee. NEMA has appeared before this committee. For us to be able to close this inquiry, the only missing link is the county government of Nairobi. So I would have no other recourse than to proceed in the manner in which the law provides. You find the governor of Nairobi in accordance with the Parliamentary Privileges and Powers Act.
Thank you, through the chair. Last meeting we had received a statement from the CS regarding, and the statement had been brought by Senator Miraj.
1, the committee may impose upon you a fine not exceeding 500,000 shillings or may order for your arrest pursuant to section 19(1) and (3) respectively of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act of 2017. And the 2, you may also be guilty of an offense in terms of section 27(1), (a), (Roman 1), and (c), (Roman 2), respectively of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act 2017, for which you shall be liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 200,000 shillings or to an imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months, or to both such a fine and imprisonment. Members, the governor was properly served, so next step is, what do we do? Olekina?
I think the first thing we do is to fine the governor the maximum of 500,000, which he has to pay through his pocket or through his own personal account. I know it might be cheap for governors who are now buying houses in Dubai, of course using public funds, but we need to fine and summon. And then If he doesn't appear the second time, fine, and then also now try to use this, maybe the police, to compel the witness to appear here. And I think we can be able to do that. So we have to do the extreme, because it's ridiculous. This guy has got no mercy. He has got no sympathy for the people who were affected. And he is allegedly the governor of Nairobi, who should actually care for everyone who is affected by this issue. So my point is, we fine 500,000, and then we issue other summons. When he fails, we will fine again, and then cause for him to be arrested.
Chair, there's a point that we made at the last meeting, that it is actually a legal requirement that parliamentary business must be prioritized. The last time the governor was telling us, and he delivered a letter here at 8 a.m., just a few minutes before the meeting started, telling us that he was going for a burial. And we actually confirmed between myself and the Member of Parliament for Embakasi East that we were going for that same burial. But we came to the committee first, executed our business at Parliament, and joined the governor at that same funeral, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair. Today, I will not be surprised if you see the governor of Nairobi at the flag of the World Rally Championship at KICC, because I am sure that is where he's going to be. He prioritizes sherehe over this parliamentary business. That flag off is scheduled for 11 a.m. There was nothing to stop him from appearing here. I'm just speculating, because I am sure I will see him there. There's nothing to stop him. I'm sure even the president who's going to do the flagging off is doing something before 11, So parliamentary business for this governor has always taken a second, seat, a back seat. For him, it is not a priority. This is why I'm in agreement with my colleagues that you need to impose the fine, first of all, and resummon him. And Chair, if then he doesn't appear again, we will impose further fines until we get to the point where we are arresting him.
Sakaja, who recently paid another $500,000 fine to the Transport Committee, has given several invitations by the Energy Committee a white bath, opting the committee to label him as a stare governor.
The last meeting that he came,
because it is so easy for him to pay, we now have to weigh other options. Is there a possibility that we can move a motion in the House, motion of censure? What? We might have to do that in the fullness of time, because apparently the money is not his, so he doesn't mind paying from institution to institution.
These are public issues which we need to be able to deliberate on those issues without any fear. Last Parliament, we censured the former Cabinet Secretary of Energy, and there are consequences. There are intended and unintended consequences when you fail to respect the rule of law. So my point is this: there's nothing in camera. I think what we need to do is to clearly either push for his arrest and also move a motion to censure him. I'm sure there are so many people who will be very happy and who will have a lot to say, because it is clear this governor prioritizes sherehe instead of government business. So, and I don't take it lightly for anyone who disrespects Parliament. We come here. Yesterday, Senator Sifuna and myself were in Narok. Senator Sifuna left Parliament, did parliamentary business, flew to Narok, flew back to Nairobi, and went back to Parliament. Of course, for me, because it was my county and everything, I delayed. But of course, with permission from my colleagues whom I shared, because it's a joint responsibility. We are here as ombudspersons of the citizens who have elected us. So my point is very clear. There's nothing in camera. I think what we do is very simple. We find the governor, even if he doesn't give a hoot in hell about the money, because of course he's going to use public money. Number two, and we issue summons and also cause for his arrest if he fails to appear. That's what the law says. In fact, legally, if you read Article 125 of the Constitution, it gives us that power. Even if that governor had traveled to Italy, we have the power to compel him to appear before this committee from that country. So really, I don't see why we are dilly-dallying here. You know, we find someone, and I love your proposal of moving a censure motion. We've done that.
And therefore, I will agree that it's fined and then respond. Failure to respond, then I think it's just has to be taking place. I support.
Well, so the committee is decided that we are summoning this governor. We meet him on 11th in this chamber at 9 a.m. in the morning, and today he's going to pay a fine of 500,000. It is so decided.
Thank you, through the chair. The current statements that are pending are 11. In the last meeting, we had received a statement from the CS regarding electric fires that have been happening in Mombasa County, and the statement had been brought by Senator Miraj. Currently, as requested, we have 11 pending statements. We have written to the CS. There are some statements that have gone over. We have rewritten to the CS, and in the last meeting that he came,
Today, I will not be surprised if you see the governor of Nairobi at the flag of the World Rally Championship at KICC, because I am sure that is where he's going to be. He prioritizes sherehe over this parliamentary business. That flag off is scheduled for 11 a.m. There was nothing to stop him from appearing here. I'm just speculating because I am sure I will see him there. There's nothing to stop him. I'm sure even the president who's going to do the flagging off is doing something before 11, you know. So parliamentary business for this governor has always taken a second, seat, a back seat. For him, it is not a priority. This is why I'm in agreement with my colleagues that you need to impose the fine, first of all, and resummon him. And Chair, if then he doesn't appear again, we will impose further fines until we get to the point where we are arresting him.
You know, Governor Sakaja has become notorious. You know, he does not respect Parliament. And this is why today we summoned him and also again and fined him 500,000 shillings. He may not feel the pain because since he became governor, he's become a billionaire. I wonder where that money is coming from. I know he was rescued somewhere by the president, but now this time around we will not. As a Committee of Energy, our job here is to make sure that the people of Kenya, particularly the people of Embakasi, get justice. The simple question that we ask are very simple. Why was the LPG facility located in a residential area? We have had a meeting with NEMA. We've had a meeting with other officers to be able to discuss. Even the Cabinet Secretary for Energy has appeared before the Energy Committee. So we're not going to take it very seriously. This committee today has resolved to do the following. We summon the governor, and Sakaja should know better. He was a member of Parliament. I sat with him in one committee. When I sat with him in that committee, we were able to summon the former Cabinet Secretary for Interior to appear before Parliament. He said he would appear at 6:30. We were there at 6:30 to wait for him to appear, and he did. So we don't understand why the governor should prioritize. I'm sure Shere, instead of the work that he's doing. This, you know, Kenyans and particularly Nairobians should know. Last week we were going around this morgue and also the hospitals in Nairobi. They are in a dilapidated state. You know, the doctors are striking. He doesn't give a hoot in hell. In fact, he issues a 12-hour ultimatum for them to be able to appear. So it is very sad, but we will continue to do our job as required of us by the law. Article 125 gives Senate and Parliament in general the powers to be able to compel a witness to appear, and whereas a witness does not appear, even move for his arrest. So we will summon him, fine him, summon him, fine him, and then finally censure him on the House, so that we see whether he can be able to get re-elected. So hii maneno ya sherehe, if he doesn't want to be a governor, acha endelea na sherehe zake. You will see him at 11 a.m. When the rallies are being flagged off. You'll see him there na masherehe zake. So that's the way he is.